Hey, this is Matt Bowman is Bothered, and I'm Matt Bowman. What's up? This is the first episode of this podcast that I'm doing, and I don't know how it's gonna go. But I do know that I'm gonna be consistent with it. That's gonna be the only thing that I can promise you is that every frickin' frappin' week, so there's gonna be one or maybe more of these podcasts. I've started a couple. They've both not worked and not done anything that I like. That's not true. I liked them, but I just wasn't. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't as passionate about it as other things, and so I'm trying to find one that's just. I'm gonna talk about whatever frickin' bothers me, which is, as you'll find most things. I can find I can find a flaw in just about everything. Which is a great quality to have. Or it's very annoying, but that's all right. And that's why there's nobody else here right now. I'm eventually going to have on some of my friends, other comics, and we're going to talk shit. We're going to talk about things that bother us, anything that's happening in the world. We'll talk about that. Probably going to talk about shit that I like, which is sports, comedy. That's about it. I don't have many interests. Those are the main two. And then, just shit that grinds my gears, or grinds my goat, which is something that I'm trying to get started. The phrase grinds my goat, or gets my gears, because I'm just a silly fun boy. Yeah. So, I'm just going to kind of get into it. To be honest, to start with, the first thing that's really just has me irked is doing this right here. You feel like a fucking sociopath. I'm sitting alone in my apartment. There's nobody else here. My girlfriend is at work. She's a tattoo artist. That's cool. We'll talk about her sometimes. But you feel like a fucking weirdo. I'm just sitting here staring down the barrel of a camera, and there's nobody else here. That's weird. I think we just accepted that that's normal, that people will just set up a camera and talk or dance or, I don't know, anything else, plot something, just talking to a camera. That's what fucking terrorists do. Terrorists sit in a cave and are just like, death to whoever they don't like, which is most people. I mean, I get it. I don't like them. I don't like most people either. But yeah, I'm just sitting here staring at this It's weird. I don't like it. It feels very odd. I know I'm gonna get used to it eventually, but for right now, it does bother me. So yeah. And I think most of you know that because last time I checked, I think everyone has a podcast. Just about everybody. I mean, babies have Facebook pages. Just little babies. Fucking fresh babies, still tinted red with their mother's placenta, have Facebook pages. And so therefore, I think by law, everyone's required to have a podcast. Like, if babies have Facebook pages or Instagrams, why wouldn't grown people have podcasts? So that's why I decided to get into it right here. Decided to hop on this bloated beast, this behemoth of a fucking avenue for content. Yeah. And it's going great. I can't wait to see where this takes me. But yeah, something that has hit me recently, like the past couple days, and this is how it's going to be. I'm just going to hop from topic to topic and just fucking shoot the breeze, or just fart into the wind. That's kind of what I'm going to be doing. It bothers me that people like I'm sipping right here. This is what I'm sipping on. I'm sipping on a vintage. Also, real quick, why did everyone's grandma have these glasses? I got this glass from my grandma. It's so cool that for just 10 years of time, like certain things were made and then they just stopped making them. And if you're old, you have it. And if you're young, you don't. But I'm sipping here and you'd think it's Kool-Aid. It's not. It's not Kool-Aid. It's just water. And then my girlfriend got Mio. You know, the little squirty flavor thing? I'm pissed off that I was sleeping on this shit. She got it and she was like, this is going to help me to get more water, to drink more water. Cool, I said condescendingly. And then she was like, try it. And so I did. And you know what? It's fucking great. Like, it's one of those companies that I'm like, oh, they've gone out of business. Or I feel like it was one of those companies that had like an ad campaign for about 15 seconds. And you're like, oh, that's cool, kind of. But then you just never fucking think about it. And then you come home one day and your girlfriend's like, hey, we have 7 flavors of water now. That's pretty cool. I'm drinking strawberry watermelon. We've got strawberry watermelon, blueberry lemonade. Cum is one of the flavors. That's a bestseller, especially in New York. That's a good one. But yeah, we've got strawberry lemonade. Fucking no. Strawberry watermelon, blueberry lemonade, and cum. I think those are the top 3 best-selling flavors. Just across, I mean, maybe Europe's different, but I think stateside, that's at least the top 3 flavors, which makes sense. But yeah, I'm kind of pissed that I hadn't been having this yet. But you got to make sure you put enough in, because if you don't put enough in, it's kind of like somebody had a strawberry in their nose and kind of like sneezed it into your glass, and that's kind of how it tastes. But if you put enough in there, it tastes real good. But if you put too much, then it's like, it's just too much. It's not like anything else. It's just too much. You remember, like, you would make, I think it's better than Kool-Aid. I'll be honest. It might be healthier than Kool-Aid, but who knows? I have done 0 research on that. But I feel like I remember when I would make Kool-Aid. You remember when you would make Kool-Aid and you would have 2, you'd be like, let's take it to the max. This one package, what do they fucking know? They don't know anything. They don't know how much powder I need to put in this water. They don't need to know how much sugar dust I'm going to put in this water. They don't know what's best for me. So you take a glass of water or a carton of a container and it says like 1 container, and then you put like 2 or 3 in there because you're like supercharge that flavor. You're just looking to take a ride on the flavor train. And then you drink it and you're like, oh, science says that this tastes like sand now. Because there's not enough space for it to dissolve. Yeah, so I fucking love that Mio is back, and I'm pissed and bothered that I've slept on it for this long. That's what I'm upset about. That's all right. I think I'm crushing this. Again, it's so weird to have to like look down the barrel of a camera and just have just me sitting here. Frankly, talking to myself, which is, you used to be institutionalized for that. Like 50 years ago, not even. When did podcasts start? 2005? I don't know. 15 years ago, if you were like, hey man, what'd you get up to today? And he was like, oh, I just sat in my room and talked out loud to myself in full sentences for an hour. You would be checked in to a facility. Like almost right away. Maybe you would get one. you would get one and be like, okay, you're allowed to, I mean, you're probably going through some stuff. Like, you can just sit there for a little bit. But if you do that on a consistent basis, dude, you're getting talked to by doctors and people that live in padded rooms. I don't know. What else is bothering me? Fucking my back. Always. I think it's not so much that my back hurts all the time. It's just that it makes me want to kill myself all the time. That's the thing. No, but the real thing is that I just thought I had more time. I'm only 29. And I never really heard anybody start saying that their back hurts that young. And maybe that's because I was 12 and no 29-year-olds were talking to me, which is good. But I think it's annoying that it's starting right now. And I think I just have to start working out more, or going on a run, or just doing anything to just move. I've been stretching. I'm big on stretching. I try to stretch every day, and that fucking sucks. It feels great, but it's annoying that that's just another thing that you have to do. Gotta stretch. Yeah, it's annoying. I'm slowly turning into my dad, is what I'm realizing. Like, my back hurts. I gotta make a spreadsheet about anything. Like, and I love it. Do you know how annoying that is? To, like, actively feel yourself becoming a parent, your mom, dad, whoever raised you, and you like it. Like, I fucking love spreadsheets. I'll make it when they don't even make any sense. Like, the other day, I was trying to make a posting schedule for, like, what I want to do to, like, set stuff up for the podcast or for just posting clips or anything. There was literally, like, 2 pieces of information, and I could just remember them or literally just write them down on a piece of paper. And I was like, no, I need to create an entire file, and I need to name the file, and then I need to create the different days, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I need to underline those because, you know, I'm going to be confused. Like, did I mean post Monday on to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not confusing information, but I had to do it. I did it. I think it's just because it's my way of pretending that I'm being productive, you know? Like, let's find, like, 17 things to do before I do the thing I need to, and then I'll be like, oh, well, wow, look at all the shit that I did. Did you do the actual thing that you were supposed to do? No, but boy, did I fucking prepare to do the thing that I'm supposed to. Are you ever going to do the thing that you're supposed to? Now, that is a great question, but unfortunately, I'm not taking any questions at this time. That's kind of how my mind goes. You know? I'll just make shit. I'll add a bunch of extra steps before I do the actual thing. You know? But the good thing is that this right now, the podcast, is the thing that I'm doing. So that's good. This bothers me. When in modern times, and by modern times, I mean right now, anybody, man, woman, or immigrant, who has a voicemail that goes and is any derivative of this. Bring, bring. Hello? Hello? Hey, man, what's up? Oh, I'm just hanging out. Where am I hanging out? Gotcha! Suck a dick, you idiot! Ha ha ha! I'm not really here! This is a voicemail, you fucking loser! I'm wasting your time. Leave a message after the tone, you dumb piece of shit. Those types of voicemails. You remember when people did those back in, I don't know, 2002? When cell phones were invented? That was kind of funny then. Especially, like, you'd call your buddy and he'd be like, "Hey, you gotta check out Steven's voicemail." And he's like, "Oh, what is it?" It's like, "Oh, it's the funniest thing ever. It's like a minute and a half long. So if you want to leave him a voicemail, you gotta sit there and listen to the whole thing." Dude, people do that now. Like, I've called people and grown adults. You might ask yourself, Matt, are you calling a seventh grader from 2005? No. This is a person that pays rent, that voted for Obama, that doesn't really understand taxes. This is a grown adult whose voicemail makes you think that they answered when they didn't. Which, who's that for? Really? Because the person whose voicemail it is doesn't get to hear that. Like, they don't get the satisfaction of hearing that unless they're just an incredible sadist, which that's a decent portion of the population. I'll agree with that. That there's a lot of people in this world that just want to hurt other people, and that's who these people are. But I don't think that it's that large of a chunk of society that it should be this prevalent. I am really annoyed with that. Very annoyed. Just leave. Also, it's partially my fault because I shouldn't even be leaving voicemails. I shouldn't be leaving a voicemail. You shouldn't be leaving a voicemail for me. Unless you are like a doctor. If you don't have my number, leave a voicemail. That's great. Because I'm not going to, if a number calls me that I don't have, you bet your bottom dollar that I'm not answering that. I don't have time for that. If you feel like it's important enough to call me, have my number already. If you don't have my number, don't call me. We're not there. Physically, emotionally, or sexually. We're not there. So just don't do it. And if you have my number, yeah, why? This is partially on me. Because I shouldn't be leaving voicemails. You know? I feel like you should give everybody 5 rings. If it goes for 5 rings and it doesn't, and they don't answer, oops, you missed them. That's it. Like, it can't be that important. Well, I don't know. If it's a call, it better be pretty fucking important. But yet, don't do it. Like, that's it. I think that's the take. Is if you have a voicemail that pretends like you are actually talking and wastes that person's time, don't. That's my take. And I'm sticking by it. No, because I think we all know that we don't have a lot of time left on the planet. For whatever reason, there's a myriad. There's quite a few reasons. So if I'm calling you, I'm taking up some of my time to actually call you. And then you're going to waste my time. That grinds my goat. Brought it back, baby. We're going to start that. Here's some other shit that bothers me. I'm slowly discovering pardon. I'm slowly discovering that everything that I love, no one cares about. Anybody else 30? Also, I hate that, but that's another thing. I gotta stay focused on a topic. Yeah, everything that I love, no one cares about. Comedy, no one gives a shit about that. Like, it's astounding how little people give a shit about comedy. Like, it's funny because comedy, it's such a weird juxtaposition because, like, comedy has never been more popular and never been hotter, never been quote unquote cooler, and a staggering amount of people couldn't give a shit. They don't. People care about 5 comedians, 3 of which are dead. That's about it. If you asked, I guess I'm talking about specifically stand-up comedy or sketch or like live comedy, not the, like we established earlier, the fucking insane asylum bullshit that people do just sitting at home. No one cares. If you ask a normal person, I was talking to one of my girlfriend's friends and I asked who her favorite comedians are, and she said, first, I would have to say Anna Kendrick. Do you know how badly I wanted to end my own life after hearing that? I'll answer pretty badly. I've contemplated it many times, but that was the most serious one. Anna Kendrick, this isn't to shit on Anna Kendrick, but by no definition of Merriam-Webster, Encyclopedia Britannica, or Urban Dictionary is she a stand-up comedian. She is a comedic actress. She can be funny, but she's not a comic or a comedian. And that's how little people give a shit about comedy. I live in New York City. I'm in Greenwich Village all the time. Greenwich Village is arguably the best place to do comedy in the world. And I was standing on a corner eating a slice of pizza, and I overheard 2 whitey white girls conversing, and one of them said, "Dave Chappelle is black, right?" Excuse me? Dave Chappelle? The biggest comedian in the world? In people's top 5 of the greatest of all? How big do you have to be for people to know who you are? And when if you're a stand-up comedian, it's never. You can't be big enough for a lot of people to know who you are. Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest comedians living and potentially of all time. And these 2 girls couldn't pick him out of a lineup, although since he is black, they might have accused him of a crime. They might do that, but they would confuse him with anyone else because they don't even know what race he is. That's bananas. No one is like, hey, is Brad Pitt African? I mean, I know his children are, but is he? No one fucking says that. Everybody knows what Brad Pitt looks like. And he's probably top 5 living actors, I would say. But no one cares about... It's insane to me. I was in Greenwich Village, which is where the Comedy Cellar is, which, if you don't know, the Comedy Cellar is one of 2, if not the best comedy club in the world, outside of that and the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Those are the 2 big clubs. They're the biggest, respectively, they are the biggest clubs in each of their respective cities. And I was standing on the same corner, not on separate occasions. It wasn't just like a barrage of making my dreams feel irrelevant within 20 minutes. That is 2 separate occasions. However, it was a similar situation where it was three people. I can't remember what they were. It was three people, and it was one dude who was like showing his other two friends who were visiting the city. He was telling them about the area, and he was like, all right, so this is McDougal Street. Now, down there is the Comedy Cellar. It's a comedy club. But right next to it is the fucking best smoke shop in the town. Boy, do they hook you up. What a fucking great smoke shop. This dude was my goal in comedy is to get passed at the Comedy Cellar, and this gentleman was like, look at that place. But how about vape pens? The Comedy Cellar was not even close. Like he wasn't just like, holy fuck, like that's a Comedy Cellar. Oh my god, that's so crazy. Oh, let's make it even better is if we went to this dope smoke shop before and got some weed. No, it was, hey, there's a Comedy Cellar. Holy fuck, that smoke shop though? You know the thing that is on every goddamn corner in the city? There's a derivative of it every 500 feet on either side of any road in the city. It bums me out. Because no one, that's how little people care about comedy. People care so little about comedy that you can't even get them to do it for free. I've tried many, many times. Be like, hey, I'll be on a corner. I'll be on the street. I'll be like, hey, we've got a comedy show here with some really talented people. Would you like to go? And people will act as if you asked if you could cut off their wife's toe. People are very aggressive when you ask them, hey, would you like to go? It's not even that they're like, oh, no, thank you. A lot of times people will be like, fuck that. Stupid. Idiot. That's kind of the vibe of their response. A lot of times it's like, you know what's odd? It's always a gaggle of girls, a collection of wenches that are the meanest. You'd think it would be like the tall, broy dudes. They can be kind of douchebags, but it's the group of entitled bitches that are the worst. Because they always walk, and they think they have the funniest fucking line. I'm like, hey, would you guys like to see a free comedy show? And they were like, but I'm the comedy show. Fall into traffic. God. And be like, oh, but it's going to be actually good. It's just like, I'm sure it will. Okay. You can't give it away for free. You could try. That's how little people care. You can't even give it to them for free. The thing that I want to do more than anything in the world, nobody cares about. And like people will act like they think it's cool, but yeah, maybe, I don't know. No, people, I'm sticking by it. Yeah, most people don't think it's that cool. People will be like, oh, that's cool. But then when you like tell them what you have to do, they're just like, oh, that's really sad. It's like, yeah. Why do you think I'm unhappy? Also got to figure out how to do... I'm also using the quick aside. I'm also using this podcast to try to figure out what my voice is. Because sometimes it's just like, oh, that was not me. That was John Mulaney, Sebastian, Dalia, or anybody, Theo, fucking just influenced. So I'm just trying to find how I want to talk about things. I don't know. Yeah, no, everything that I love, nobody gives a shit about. Comedy, we've established that. No, people will think they like comedy, but they don't. And fucking college football, that's maybe my favorite thing in the world. And especially in New York City, nobody cares. Even dudes. Like, I have friends who are very into football that don't know anything about college sports. And it's because I'm from Ohio. I'm from Cincinnati. And so I love Ohio State. I mean, it affects me. It affects my mood probably exponentially more than it should. And no one cares. Not like the only people in the city that care about college football are people that are gambling on it, which that's fine, but I can't really talk to them about it. They don't find it interesting. They'll be like, well, yeah, but what about the NFL? She's like, yeah, well, I grew up a Bengals fan, and save for the past 12 months, it has been like eating a pair of pants every single season. It's tough. And there's zippers. So yeah, I'm never really like jazzed up or excited to talk about NFL football. Now I will be, because Joe Burrow's the man and I would give him fellatio. However, that's not why I'm addressing the court today. But so all everybody wants to talk about is just pro football, because New York City is a pro sports town. They have, I don't know if you know this, but they have 15 of every major sports team here. They have so many. And I don't care that much about this. And people at the same time are like, yeah, we don't care about the thing that you like. And it's like, well, that's cool. I want to have somebody to talk to about it, but nobody cares. People don't care. I love World War II. And the really cool thing about loving World War II is that no one likes you. That's it. No, but nobody, there are some people that like World War II, but it's never the cool people. It's never, there's never an interview where Harry Styles is talking about the human cost of blitzkrieg. Somehow that never crops up on the red carpet. There's never a time where Timothée Chalamet has to address Hitler's decision to open up a second front in Russia. That never really comes across the ticker. Nobody does that. And you're allowed to like World War II if you are, I'm like 20 years ahead of the curve, essentially. But I've always loved World War II. Always. I remember waking up early on like a Saturday morning when I was 10 to watch the History Channel. I mean, it was tough because I had to beat away women that were trying to be with me to watch. Well, excuse me, ladies. I know you are very excited that I'm here, but I have to watch an animated version of the Battle of the Bulge and compare it to archival footage. Sorry. That's what I have to do. But yeah, I've loved it for so long. It's so interesting, and no one cares. You try to talk to people about it, and it's also astonishing to me how little people even know about it. People know Hitler. People know Hitler. People know about. They know that some Jews died. They know that, which, to be fair, those are two of the big hitters of shit to do with World War II. Those are definitely in the top 10 of important things. But very few people know about, I don't know, like Churchill or Stalin or Rommel or the North Africa campaign. Very few people know when D-Day is, which that's going to be fun when people stop knowing when when people stop knowing when 9/11 is, even though that's a tough, that's easy. It's the day. It's in there. But yeah, it's funny. Nobody knows. And I try to like weave it into conversations sometimes. And people have told me that is annoying. Yeah. The things that I try to spend my time doing the most people think that is silly. And that's okay. But it is annoying to me. I also don't know how long I'm going to do this. Not like the podcast itself. The podcast itself I'm going to do for a long time, potentially indefinitely. That's also interesting to be like, hey, today is the day that I start doing something for the rest of my life. I don't know if people that like have had really successful podcasts, if they were like, yep, every week forever. I don't know if they ever would have thought that. Like if you would talk to fucking Mark Maron or Rogan like 10 years ago and they'd be like, hey, you guys are going to do this a lot forever. I don't know what they would say to that. I don't know if they would believe you. But yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to go every episode. Every episode, I'm going to try to do like 40 to 45 minutes at least, if not longer. But I also want to be respectful of your guys' time and not make you listen to a long-ass voicemail. Full circle. That's fine. Okay. I'm also going to try to talk. I might throw in some videos or things that I've seen. And by the way, when I say video, I mean TikTok. But I'm not 11, and so that feels weird whatever. I saw a TikTok, and I don't even know how it comes across. I don't know if anybody else's feed is like this. But obviously the whole point is that it's just like, hey, this is shit that you like, shit you like, shit you like, shit you like, shit you like, things you like. But every now and then there'll be like something that's just like, it seems like they're throwing something out there to be like, ooh, let's see if he likes that, And they'll throw in a couple every now and then to see if they can learn something new about you. And so this time they threw out, it was a therapist or someone who claims to be a therapist, because there's no fact checking. I could literally put on a lab coat and be like, I am a doctor, and no one could say that it's incorrect because they don't know me. Whatever. This guy who says he's a therapist and wears a bow tie, so he is at least a loser. He has a bow tie on, and he claims to be a child therapist, and the whole point, it was like a 2-minute video, and he was talking about how he would never let his child go to a sleepover. Fun? And he was saying that parents shouldn't let their kids go to sleepovers, essentially because it was like time unsupervised without like a parental figure there to guide them through certain situations or whatever. And I don't know, man. I watched that video and just thought, so this guy had between 0 and 0 friends. Somewhere in the range of 0 to 0 is the number of friends that this man had growing up, and I would assume until now. I'm astonished that he has a child. That's probably an imaginary child, because I can't imagine that he convinced any woman ever to allow him inside her home or her vagine. I don't think that ever happened, because what a fucking loser are you that you're not going to let your kids go to have sleep. Dude, that was the only reason to be alive as a child, was fucking sugar and going over to your friend's house. That was it. I mean, you lived for Friday or Saturday night. that was the highlight of your stupid little life. Was going over to your friend's house, dude. Like, I would put going to your friend's house for a sleepover when you're like 11 on par with any drug, sexual experience, concert, declaration of war, anything. I'll put that up against all of those heavy hitters because that's how fucking dope it was. And this fucking square is just like, yeah, you shouldn't do it because what did he fucking say? What is... He would never allow it. Yeah, he just would never allow his kids to... For what reason, dude? Yeah, I think he was kind of saying, because sometimes kids can be mean. And you need an adult there to figure that out for him. Hey, dude, that kid's gonna get hit. And be a loser. Sleepovers are the best time ever. And yes, especially... Well, you know what? Not even. I would imagine like a girls' sleepover could have definitely a different dynamic because like girls will just like pick each other apart and just like talk shit about each other and a lot of times like mean it. It's impressive the amount of like how mean girls can be to each other's face. Like it's honestly fucking, I admire that. I admire that quality because I'm from the Midwest and I'm bothered by almost everything, but I generally keep that shit to myself and then I'll text one of my friends about it later, or I'll just internalize it forever and never let it out. That's how I deal with that. But fucking girls will just be bleh, like right in your face. So I can't imagine like a girl's sleepover could be a little bit worse. But the worst thing that's going to happen to you at a guy's sleepover is you're going to fall asleep first, which yes, that's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do at a guy's sleepover when you were a kid is fall asleep first. Because if you fall asleep first, fucking there's whipped cream going in your nostrils. Fucking we're gonna get a bowl of water and we're gonna put your hand in it and you're gonna take a piss on your pants. Or we're gonna draw one, if not 14 penises on different parts of your body in Sharpie, so you have to walk around with the remnants of that for at least 48 hours. Just good Christian fun like that. So yeah, but yes, if that'll happen to you if you fall asleep first. But other than that, it is fucking Mountain Dew, Skittles, Call of Duty, and being like, aren't girls hot? That was really it. That was when you made your fucking best friends. That was when you made your tightest relationships, was when you went to a sleepover. And to deprive your child of that might be the worst thing that you could do, because you sound like an over-controlling, extremely sensitive, fucking put your kid in a padded vest with a leash on type of parent. What a terrible idea. Absolutely the worst idea you could imagine. How does he make friends? How do your children make friends? Like, I think because he said, like, you could do a sleepover, but, like, the parents had to be, like, present in the room or something like that, which, I don't know, man. The fact that the guy was wearing a bow tie the whole time was kind of like, you want to touch these kids, dude? Like, it's like, dude, you can't be watching over your child 24/7, nor should you. You fucking helicopter dick. Helicopter dick. Helicopter dick. Trying to impress a chick? Do the helicopter dick. Whatever happened to those guys? Regardless. Yeah, as a parent, your involvement in the sleepover should be, hey, shut up down there. I'm trying to sleep. That's a guaranteed you're going to say that once or twice. That you should say, hey, quiet down there, because you're in the basement. That's where sleepovers happen, is in the basement. Hey, quiet down there, and pizza rolls are ready. That's it. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be fucking shoving your nose into a sleepover. That's fucking weird and annoying and embarrassing. As the kid who's like hosting the sleepover, that's the worst thing you could do. Maybe the worst thing the worst thing you could do is have a parent come down and like want to hang out with you guys. Why are you even having people over? I'm here to hang out with my boys and fucking call people sons of bitches on Call of Duty on Xbox Live, not hang out with Steve or Becky. That's not what I want. I want to see, when I go to somebody else's house, I want to see the parents 6 times. I made that number up, and now I am desperately trying to figure out the 6 occasions that I want to see these people. But no, I see you when you walk in the door. I see you when you provide us with food. When you inevitably come down the stairs and yell at us to be quiet because it's 2:30 and you're tired and you have to work in the morning. That's a time that I should see you. Or you come upstairs at 1 o'clock in the morning and the mom is asleep and the dad is up watching SportsCenter highlights, and you're like, hey, excuse me, Mr. Johnson, is there any more Mountain Dew? And he's like, yeah, it's in the fridge in the garage. And you're like, thank you. He's like, bleh. That's it. However many times that was, that's how many times I should see parents. Yeah, what a fucking loser. Not let your kid go to a sleepover. I don't know how, as a therapist, air quotes, I don't know how you don't see that that's just... How is that not something that you're like, oh, I have some unresolved shit. This is on me. I'm the one who needs to figure my own shit out before I just, push that onto my child. What a dork. So yeah, that was the video that was bothering me this week. It really got me. It got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, you really got me. No, that was a song by the Kinks. So yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't have much else for right now. We're coming up on 50 minutes. I think that's a good first episode. Again, there's not going to be any time limits or there's going to be like a time minimum. I want to do a minimum of like 40 to 45 every week. And then obviously I'm going to have guests on. It's just going to be other comics. And so we're probably going to be a little bit longer because we're going to just be talking, shooting the shit, having a good time. But yeah, I really can't wait to have 5 to 40 people listen to this, and express their most likely distaste of it. But that's okay, because again, I'm not doing this for anything other than me and to be consistent and to hopefully get maybe work out some material, fucking just talk to you guys about shit that bothers me, and maybe find out what bothers you guys. Because I guarantee I'm probably bothered by the same thing, because I can't be happy. Anybody else? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm working on setting up a YouTube page, Instagram, fucking TikTok for all of it. I'm going to try to be as consistent with it as possible. Throw that shit up there. So yeah, I'm going to hopefully try to grow this, make some money, fucking be funny. That's really all that I want to try to do, is just be funny and have a good time. So thanks for listening. This has been the first episode of Matt Bowman is Bothered, and it's going to be the first of many, many more. Bye, everybody.